Welcome to my channel Limelight Leaks. Please share and subscribe, and hit the bell icon for latest updates.
The fastest car racers in America thought their biggest danger was crossing the finish line. They were wrong. For the stars of Street Outlaws, the real race was trying to stay alive. And it happened when the cameras stopped rolling. They were kings of the street. But what happened when their lives went crazy? The fights, the backstabbing, and the sad secrets were bigger than any race they ever won. Big Chief's fight with the show. To understand how the world of Street Outlaws started to fall apart, you have to start with the man who built it, Justin Shearer. Everyone knew him as Big Chief. For years, he was the face, the voice, and the heart of the show. He was born in Kentucky but grew up in Oklahoma. He fell in love with racing when he was a boy, riding his bike to the famous Route 66 just to watch the cars speed by. He drove his famous car called the Crow. He wasn't just a racer. He was the race boss who made the rules and called the shots. But behind the scenes, trouble was coming. Big Chief started to feel like the show he loved was changing, and not for the better. The problem started with new rules from the TV company. One rule was called Race Your Way In. This let new racers join the show if they won certain races. Big Chief felt this new system was unfair. He saw that many of the new races were coming from the Street Outlaws Memphis team, while other great drivers were being left out. To him, this wasn't about finding the fastest racers anymore. It felt like the show was picking favorites, and it went against everything he believed about real street racing. He was the guy who had to stand in front of the cameras and defend these new rules, and he hated it. He felt he was being asked to defend what he called fake competition rules and decisions. Some people think the fight got personal with rumors of a big clash between Big Chief and Precious, a popular racer from the Memphis team that pushed him over the edge. This fight with the show was happening at the same time his personal life was falling apart. The long hours of filming and the constant pressure of being a TV star hurt him badly. For almost 11 years, he was married to his wife, Alicia Shearer. They had met when he was just 18 years old, working at a gas station long before the fame and cameras. They built a life together and had two sons, Corbin and Corville. But the demands of the show created distance between them. In 2017, after more than 10 years of marriage, they decided to get divorced. Later, Big Chief said that he wished he had cared more about his family during that time. The cracks in his work life grew even bigger. For 9 years, Big Chief and his best friend, Sean Ellington, also known as Murder Nova, were an unbeatable team. They were partners in their famous shop, Midwest Street Cars, building some of the fastest cars in Oklahoma. The shop was created because they needed it. The demands of filming meant Big Chief could no longer work his day job in heating and air. So they created a business around their passion. However, shocking news soon came that they were breaking up their business. Rumors spread that they had a huge fight, but Big Chief said that wasn't true. He explained that they had simply grown apart. Their goals had changed. Big Chief wanted to focus more on his family and start a new business called 187 Customs with another racer named Phantom. But others close to the situation said it was because Big Chief wanted to race all the time, while Sean wanted more time for his own family. One story says the breaking point came when they both agreed to race at a sponsor event. At the last minute, Big Chief bailed to go to a no-prep Kings race, leaving Sean to deal with the angry sponsor alone. Whatever the reason, one of the show's most famous friendships was broken. Finally, Big Chief had enough. He decided to walk away from Street Outlaws for good. Fans were shocked and rumors spread that he was fired or had gone to rehab, but he made it clear that he left on his own. It was a choice he made because he could no longer stand behind the show's new direction. He felt that television was becoming a quick money grab, and that wasn't what he was about. Today, Big Chief is living life his own way. He's no longer on TV, but is more involved in racing than ever. He runs his YouTube channel, also called Midwest Street Cars, where he shares videos of his new car projects, like working on his Cadillac. He's happy with his new girlfriend, Jackie Brash, and is focused on building his own brand far away from the TV producers and their rules. The backstabbing of Murder Nova. While Big Chief chose to walk away from the Street Outlaws world, his former best friend, Murder Nova, stayed loyal. Sean Ellington had been a part of the show for 13 years, a true original who helped make it a hit. Like Big Chief, he grew up around cars, sweeping floors in his father's auto body shop in Oklahoma from a young age. After he and Big Chief went their separate ways, Shawn continued to race and film. He became one of the most recognized faces in the show, but that loyalty would not be returned. In a move that stunned the racing world, Shawn announced in a live video that he had been fired. The news came as a complete shock, not just to fans, but to Shawn himself. His firing wasn't because of a fight or disagreement. It was because the entire racing tour he was part of had suddenly collapsed. A new company called Speed Promotions had taken over running the live racing events for the show. But partway through their 2025 season, they suddenly canceled all remaining races, including a big money small tire event. Just like that, the show was over, and the racers were left with nothing. The worst part was how it was handled. Shawn and the other racers said they received no warning and no explanation from the people in charge. One day they were TV stars racing for huge crowds, and the next they were unemployed. In his video, Shawn joked about it, saying he'd been fired from every job he's ever had. So he wasn't too worried. But it was clear that the sudden end was a heavy blow. He and the other racers had built their lives and their businesses around the show, and now it was gone without a word. Interestingly, Shawn defended the people who ran Speed Promotions. He explained that they were the same people, Sam and Jen, who had started Street Outlaws from the beginning. The problem, he said, was that they no longer had the huge amount of money from the TV network that they used to have. They were trying to keep the racing tour going on a much smaller budget, and it just didn't work. It wasn't that they wanted to fail, they just didn't have the funding to succeed. This made the situation even more sad. It wasn't a story of bad guys, but of a dream that had run out of gas. Even though he was fired, Shawn Ellington proved he was a survivor. He immediately told his fans that he was not done racing. He turned his focus to the business he had started after leaving Midwest Streetcars, a new shop called 187 Customs. He also poured his energy into his YouTube channel, which now has hundreds of thousands of subscribers. He sells his own merchandise and connects directly with his fans without needing a TV show to do it. Outlaws behind bars. Getting fired was a work problem, but for some cast members, the consequences of their outlaw life were far more serious. They weren't just losing jobs, they were losing their freedom. From the very beginning, the show was about illegal street racing, so run-ins with the police were always part of the story. During one race, a driver named Jerry Bird was arrested right at the finish line. He was in the final race for a prize of over $15,000. But because of the police, he had to split the money with his opponent. For years, that was the kind of trouble they faced. But soon the problems got much bigger. Chuck Sidzinger, the driver of the Ford Mustang known as the Death Trap, sent shockwaves through the fan community when it was revealed he had gone to jail. Before he was a street racer, Chuck was a champion in the world of import drag racing, winning national championships in 2004 and 2006. He remembered being made fun of for being from Oklahoma, with other racers asking if they still rode horses to work. He proved them all wrong on the track, but his past success couldn't keep him out of trouble. The news of his jail time came out of nowhere, and nobody knew why he was locked up. Chuck stayed quiet about the details, which only made the mystery grow. After he was released, he posted a video on his YouTube channel called Chuck's Out of Jail. In the video, he talked about his experience and showed himself getting back to racing, but he never explained what crime he had committed. This left fans wondering what dark secrets were being hidden behind the scenes. But Chuck's mysterious jail time was nothing compared to the story of Jonathan Day, better known as JJ DeBoss from Street Outlaws Memphis. Before he was a TV star, JJ lived a very different life. He grew up poor in a small Arkansas town, the son of a religious mother, and started hustling on the streets to make money at an early age. He made some bad choices that led him to federal prison, where he spent 8 years and 1 month. That experience shaped the man viewers saw on TV, a tough hustler who was all about winning, no matter the cost. And it seems that his past never truly left him. In 2017, during the filming of his show, things turned violent. A rival racer named Chad Larkin claimed that JJ and his crew brutally attacked him. According to a lawsuit Larkin filed, the trouble started when one of JJ's racers lost a race by jumping the start. JJ became furious, cursing and screaming before calling a meeting with his Memphis team. He told them to use every dirty trick they could think of against the visiting racers and declared war on them. Larkin said that after a dispute, JJ and other members of the Memphis crew tackled him. They kicked and punched him repeatedly. Larkin stated in the lawsuit that he literally believed they were trying to kill him. The aftermath was serious. JJ Dayboss was arrested and charged with aggravated assault. He was released after paying a $30,000 bond. Chad Larkin and his wife then sued JJ, the Discovery Channel, and the production company for up to $5 million. What was even more shocking were the claims made in the lawsuit. It said that the show's producers knew all about JJ's violent past and his time in prison. The lawsuit claimed they did nothing to stop the violence because it made for good TV and was exactly the kind of drama they wanted for the show. Scars, survival, and secrets. While the show focused on rivalries and racing, many of the cast members were fighting personal battles that were far more difficult than anything they faced on the street. One of the most heartbreaking stories belongs to Jeff Bonnet, known to everyone as AZN. On TV, AZN is the funny, fast-talking sidekick to his best friend, Farm Truck. He's always quick with a joke and is a huge fan favorite. But his happy personality hides a truly tragic past. When AZN was only 16 years old, his mother died from cancer after a long battle that cost the family over $180,000. Just 4 years later, when he was 20, his father collapsed at work and died 3 days later. Suddenly, AZN was an orphan, all alone in the world and facing $47,000 in medical bills from his father's death. It was a devastating loss that the show never talked about, a secret pain he carried while making millions of viewers laugh. That early tragedy helps explain his incredibly close bond with Sean Whitley, or Farm Truck. Farm Truck became like a father figure and mentor to him. They first met when AZN was just a 17-year-old kid who thought his Chevy Nova was the fastest car around. Farm Truck and his rusty 1970 C10 pickup easily beat him in a race. But instead of being a sole winner, Farm Truck was graceful. He showed the young AZN how to make his own car faster. And they've been best friends ever since. Farm Truck himself was dealing with his own hidden struggles. For years, he quietly battled a medical condition called Bell's palsy, which left one side of his face paralyzed. He also suffered a serious hand injury that he said gave him PTSD. While he was always smiling on camera, he was dealing with physical and emotional pain that he kept secret from the fans. His private nature is so extreme that almost nothing is known about his family life, which has led to wild rumors over the years. The physical dangers of racing were impossible to hide. David Comstock, or Daddy Dave, is known for pushing his cars to the absolute limit, and he has the scars to prove it. He has survived several horrifying crashes. In one of the worst, his famous car Goliath flipped 6 times during a race. He suffered a major concussion and a bruised lung, and later said he had no memory of the crash at all. He rebuilt the car, calling it Goliath 2.0, only to crash it again during a No Prep Kings event. This time he took full responsibility, calling it a rookie mistake because he was too focused on his opponent instead of his own driving. Each time he would rebuild and get right back on the track, showing incredible strength. But all the broken bones and wrecked cars could not prepare the Street Outlaws family for the ultimate tragedy. In August of 2022, the racing world was shaken by news of a death during filming. Many fans panicked, thinking it was the famous racer Ryan Martin, driver of the Fireball Camaro. But the horrible truth was that another cast member, Ryan Fellows, had been killed. It is very important to be clear, it was Ryan Fellows who passed away, not Ryan Martin. Ryan Fellows was filming for the show Street Outlaws Fastest in America outside of Las Vegas during what was the 8th of 9 races scheduled for that night. He was driving his gold Nissan 240Z when he lost control near the finish line. The car rolled over and burst into flames. People at the scene tried desperately to pull him from the burning car, but they couldn't get to him in time. Ryan Fellows was 41 years old and left behind a wife and 2 children. His son, Josiah, later wrote a heartbreaking public letter saying his dad was supposed to see his last high school basketball season and watch him graduate. It was the darkest day in the show's history. Life after the list. For many of the cast, Street Outlaws was not the final destination. It was a launching pad for a whole new career. Before the show made them famous, most of them had regular day jobs to pay for their racing hobby. Doc owned his own diesel repair shop. Monza worked installing garage doors, and Big Chief ran an FAC company. One of the most inspiring stories is that of Kai Kelly. Before he was a TV star, Kai worked at an oil refinery. He started out with a simple job watching for fires while welders worked, making just $10 an hour. He worked his way up to become a superintendent, one of the youngest in his field, leading a team of hundreds of people. But his passion was always racing. Once the show became a hit, these racers used their new fame to become business owners. Daddy Dave, who used to work a government job, now owns Comtalk Automotive and is a huge social media star with over 1 million followers on Facebook. Chuck Seidinger runs his shop, Alternative Motorsports, and has a successful YouTube channel and merchandise line. The beloved duo of Farm Truck and AZN also opened their own shop and have their own spin-off shows like Locals Only, where they give other up-and-coming racers a chance to shine. But Kai Kelly took it to another level. After becoming one of the biggest names on Street Outlaws, known for his Camaro called Shocker, Kai decided to build an empire of his own. He announced he was shifting gears and trying new things. He started exploring other types of racing like dirt track and small tire competitions. He also started a successful trailer sales business using his knowledge and connections in the racing world to create a new source of income. Then he made his biggest move of all. Kai Kelly bought his old hometown racetrack, the Pike County Speedway in Mississippi. It was the same 310-mile high-banked dirt oval track where he grew up watching races as a kid. The track had been closed since 2012. In a video on his YouTube channel, which now has over 174,000 subscribers, he showed off the old rundown track and shared his dream of bringing it back to life. He plans to fix it up and open it to the public, hosting races and creating a fun place for families. He is no longer just a racer waiting for a call from a TV producer. He now owns the track himself. By taking control of their own futures, these racers are building brands and businesses that will last long after the TV show is over. For the cast of Street Outlaws, the finish line was just the beginning of another story. They chased fame and glory on the pavement, but their biggest challenges were fought off the track. They faced down broken friendships, legal battles, and heartbreaking loss. Through it all, they proved that being an outlaw is about more than just speed. It's about survival, strength, and the relentless drive to keep moving forward no matter what stands in your way.